Star Trek 57, M23, take 2.
It's the It's Got Star Trek podcast.
Captain Pike may be a Vulcan, but that should not prohibit him from performing his duties.
Spock's right. There's nothing physically or mentally wrong with Pike or any of them. And we can't force a serum on them.
But they didn't sign up to be permanent Vulcans, only temporary ones. This is a fluke, right?
More like a oopsie.
Unfortunately, their logic is sound. Any Vulcan would believe that being Vulcan is the most logical thing one could do.
So you agree with them?
On the contrary, they have never expressed interest in being Vulcan prior to this event. Therefore, this current conclusion goes against their own sense of self.
We assume. If only we could speak to them without a Vulcan filter.
What if we did, and they still wanted to stay Vulcan?
Then we honor that. And accept the fact that they're now permanently Vulcan jerks. No offense.
It is true. Vulcans can be jerks.
All right, you ready, Dan?
I'm ready.
Jesse?
I'm ready, yes.
All right, so I'll push the button. We can get. Let me double check that I'm recording. Okay. What? That's an important thing to do. To double check. Double check we're recording.
If you say so.
I double checked that we were recording.
Triples is best, though.
Triples is best, but
www.
Wait, www.
That was four
There was four W's.
It's a big old web, baby.
That's like
It's a
12.
really wide web.
That's too many syllables.
There's a lot of syllables.
Do you think there's a word syllabus and syllable are related somehow?
Yes.
Good chance. Good chance. Yes. Probably a topic for a different podcast.
Yeah,
Shut up.
yeah.
You shut your mouth.
That's a different whole subject of literature.
Do you know which podcast you are on tonight?
I do. Damn.
I don't know.
You know.
Well, it happens to be that you're on the It's Got Star Trek podcast.
Listen up, ears.
They're gonna see some things.
Ears. Listen up, ears.
Specifically, if we're gonna be specific about it, you are on the
Pacific Ocean
305th episode. The 305th episode of It's Got Star Trek. It's so stupid. I mean, it's really stupid when it comes to...
You already said the title. Why'd you say it again?
I didn't say the title.
Yeah, you did. You said, welcome to the It's Got Star Trek podcast. And then you said, you're on the 305th episode of the It's Got Star Trek podcast.
Yeah.
Yes. Wait, you said it, you not only said it once, you said it twice, and you claimed you said it never.
Well, I thought you were referring to the title of the episode, which I have not said.
I have no choice but to believe you. I have no choice.
I appreciate...
But I am hesitant.
You're a captive.
I am resistant, but I must.
I appreciate that you...
Resistant captive.
I appreciate that you accept the feasibility of my misapprehension. So, Thank you.
Right.
Okay.
No problem.
So, episode 305 of the It's Got Star Trek podcast.
Yes.
And this week, we have the honor, we have the distinction of discussing the very silly and somewhat controversial Strange New Worlds episode 4 and a half Vulcans.
Everything I once found dull now seems to be fascinating.
Yeah.
Chapel ended that sentence.
Yeah, two different people saying
I did like how Lon had like a sneer. You'd call that a sneer, right? That like every time she talked about power, she would get this sneer on her face.
She was a Romulan.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that. He said she was a Romulan.
She was a Vulcan.
Yeah, but there's like an important subplot in this. Is that for some reason she was a Romulan.
Oh, was she a Romulan?
Yeah, they stated it outright.
Yeah. When did they say she was a Romulan?
He was in there, baby.
Okay. Well, we're going to get to that.
Wait, did I miss that somehow?
You did. You missed it. But it's okay. We'll get to
so
it.
Stupid!
You tried to make me look stupid, man.
No, I didn't.
But
I didn't.
You were stupid.
No.
You are too slow.
I could read your tone.
I can read my tone.
Are you questioning your commander?
I didn't accuse you of being wrong. I was just surprised. I wasn't saying you were wrong. I was just saying, like, I didn't know that. So I'm sorry. But I know you're ready for me to jump out of the gate with baseball bats to all your words, and be like, Jesse, why did you say that at that point in time? You should have said that 5 seconds later.
It was just part of the deal.
For the audience,
I will fight you about that.
To provide some context to the audience, this may be tangentially related to a pre-podcast, shall we say, discussion that these two had over a can of cold coffee.
I just made it so weird.
We're not going to go into details here. There was a bit of a confusion. A fracas.
Sometimes I have trouble with the thing.
People got heated.
Yeah. Anyway,
we got heated.
We're ready for an excellent.
I have achieved it.
An excellent discussion tonight, which we will preface by noting, it's a little bit controversial. There were issues raised by a number of people online about the way this episode handles topics related to multicultural identity, multiracial identity.
Yes.
Associating that with comedic elements, and it's very complicated. It's an important conversation to have. This is not the best. This is not the best podcast to have that particular conversation.
Right. It is true.
But I encourage folks to look. Lots of really interesting articles, social media. Check on Bluesky. Other podcasts are covering this in more detail. And I'd actually be super interested in covering this in a different venue because this is an area of interest of mine.
I'm glad to hear you say that.
In grad school, I'm actually currently researching issues related to people who identify as multiracial. But
it's like PhD school.
It is. So that's something I do take very seriously. But we'll get into a little bit. But we're going to be mainly talking about the goofy parts of this episode.
Indeed.
I did want to acknowledge.
I hope so.
That there is that very important and interesting conversation going on out there.
Sometimes.
But
you said but
that business aside, business aside, Dan, I think, has a couple of points to make. We've got a few emails and communications. We've got a voicemail. We've got all sorts of things going on here. So
sabotage.
We want to get moving. Dan, do you want to make your points first? Were they points about previous episodes?
Last week's episode, there's two things. One, I was like,
you're talking about what is Starfleet?
Yeah. So at one point, I kept like quizzing you, Patrick, on what it was you hated about that episode, and I never quite got it. And I think the thing that you hated about that episode is the thing. I had it all backwards. I think the thing that you hated about that episode specifically was that it was boring. That was what you hated about that episode. Because I was like, in the argument. That's funny that says something. Is that a Freudian slip? Like, because there wasn't an argument there.
No.
But I just assumed there was. Anyway, so like I kept being like, so it wasn't like that it was boring that bothered you. It was some other stuff. But I think I remembered after that we recorded the episode, one of the things you hate the most is being bored.
Yeah.
Like being bored is like life is not worth being bored for. Basically, is your attitude.
And so gets me into trouble.
And so when you are in a situation that is boring, it is like the most you self-described. I've never witnessed you in this situation, but you've described it as very difficult. You have a hard time handling such a situation.
It's
torturous. So when I was like, oh, it's not that it was boring that you didn't like, it was this other stuff. No, it was actually that it was boring is what you hated about last week.
I think probably fair to state that, yes. I think that probably... Now, a lot of what made it boring was choices they made in the direction and the production design and the storytelling, the writing, all that stuff came together.
To make something very boring.
Yeah. It's an interesting point, though, because I think this week's episode is a good counterpoint. Because, again, there's a lot of problems people have with this episode, but there's also a lot that's kind of like interesting and funny about this episode. Even some of the more ridiculous things.
It's like the funniest episode.
And especially the structure is really, it's like a very well structured episode. The beats work well. Again, I mean, we're going to have a long conversation about the ins and outs.
The beats
go wrong.
The beats worked well. I don't know what we really had accomplished by the end of it, but
you know about beats, baby.
Sure. I know about beats.
You got beats.
But my point is, in response to what you were just mentioning, I was not bored at any moment during this episode.
Yeah, right.
And I did not dread having to watch it a second time and saw additional interesting things to chat about.
I only watched it once.
A second time.
Oh, and this point, like, I guess I don't really need to go over this, but I remember at one point last week, Pike was talking. He was so hard up on saying hard up on, hard up on,
Yes.
hard up on,
Yes.
saying we have to follow orders. We can't. Sometimes you just gotta obey. You have to obey orders. We have nothing we can do. But then I thought immediately back to the Kenfori shuttle to Kenfori, where the whole episode is they specifically disobeyed orders.
Yeah.
Now I guess you could say that because they were on camera, they weren't going to disobey orders. But Pike was really making a show of how you gotta always follow orders.
Yeah.
But a few episodes prior, he wasn't feeling that way. So
Inconsistent.
and it was inconsistent with how he was talking about the Gorn being monsters, and then a few episodes later he was saying oh, you got to have empathy for your enemy and all that stuff. So it's just he's going back and forth.
There was some stuff that was out of character.
Yeah,
inconsistent.
It was yeah. It was. I was just gonna say it was inconsistent. Those 2 points were kind of where Pike's character is kind of inconsistent between
I think
episodes.
those were excellent follow-up points.
Well, you don't have to. You don't have to patronize me.
I'm not patronizing you.
Yes, you are. You think I'm stupid.
I'm not purchasing anything at one of your establishments, one of your many establishments.
You're matronizing me.
All right, let's get to our
It is illogical.
emails. All right, first we have an email from what is it? A Rob Galubitz?
What?
Oh,
A Rob Galubitz?
I know no such names.
What is it?
I know no such names as knees.
So this Rob fella, he
Rob
says
go. Are you sure Rob Galam?
Globe tits.
Rob Globe tits.
Rob Olembidi. Olembidi.
All right. Well, people will understand what we're talking about in just a moment. Rob says, "Hey, Patrick, Jesse, and Dan.
Hi.
Having grown up watching Star Trek in various forms, I've always felt that the original theme song was one of the most kick-ass theme songs of any show, especially the iconic initial motive at the beginning. However, motive, M-O-T-I-V-E.
Oh, maybe.
You're the music people.
I'm going to trust what he has to say.
Well, yeah. Once we reveal,
we're talking about TOS.
Well, he's talking about TOS.
Oh yeah, once we reveal who this is.
Yeah.
But I'm going to trust them because they seem like they know what they're talking about.
They know what they.
Maybe.
Yes. He goes on to say. Rob goes on to say. However, I also loved that every show after it, except for the fucking stupid theme song from Enterprise, took the original theme song and adapted it and mirrored how every show was a variation of the original. My favorite of the variations is the Strange New Worlds theme song, which calls back strongly to the TOS song.
It's true.
And not just the opening motive or motif.
I'm sure it's motive.
Motive sounds right.
And the Discovery kind of does a little too.
Yes. While while also being especially awesome in its harmonic reimagining of the original theme. In fact, I never skip the opening credits of SNW, and the only reason is just so I can listen to the theme song again. Interested to hear what your favorite Star Trek theme songs are. Rob, yes, this is Dan's brother.
Ah.
Thanks, Agamus.
I couldn't have guessed that.
Yeah. So that was a
That's
message.
what
I never would have guessed.
Galubitz?
No, he wrote it properly.
Globe tits.
I was just
if you notice, at one point I said Olembidi because my grandfather used to save letters that were people would misspell our last name, and the worst one was Olembidi. So the name is
Oh no.
GLAU.
That is the worst.
It's GLAUBITZ. The G became an O. Then there's LA. The U became like an N or something.
Olembiddies.
The BIT and the Z became a Y.
Take all biddies.
So it became like Olembidi or something like that. So.
My mom's name is Ines, I-N-E-S.
Yes.
She, to this day, still frequently gets junk mail addressed to Anus. Anus.
Are they just playing a joke? Like, how do they not know that Anus is not a real name?
And Enos is not like, it's not a common name, but it's not a particularly uncommon name either.
Yeah.
Anyway. So Rob is asking what our favorite Trek theme songs
and
are.
Rob knows what he's talking about because he's does music for a living.
Yes, he is a very, very smart music person.
Yeah, I don't know if I should go too into it.
You don't explain. He's part of a secret cabal.
Yeah, real pervert
master musicians,
and they're also like a bunch of perverts too. Like a pervert cabal,
spy perverts.
They
assassinate other perverts
in really perverted ways.
I'm sure Rob is digging this.
That actually reminds me. Patrick, which did you like worse, Section 31 or...
You've framed this question oddly.
I know, I fucked myself from the beginning.
Which did you like
the reason I was
worse?
The reason I'm reminded is because Rob was like wondering too, like which did you dislike more, the Section 31 or what is Starfleet?
Oh, you mean in terms of like watching it?
Yeah.
I don't know. What is Starfleet has the virtue of being shorter? Section 31, again, it was really poorly made.
I thought Section 31
super hyped
It's
up.
pretty awful.
I think by a mile, Section 31 is worse.
They were hyping it up for years.
Here's the thing, though. Like, what is Starfleet? I knew within a couple minutes that I wasn't going to be enjoying this. Section 31, it got bad pretty soon, but like, at every moment you're like, I wonder, maybe they're gonna, no, they did the stupid thing.
Yeah.
You know, so it was kind of like an adventure. You know, it was like an adventure.
and
Like,
disappointment.
Stupid adventure.
what's going to happen?
It's an adventure and
It was
disappointment.
it was not predictable or anything. The what is Starfleet was, I don't know. Anyway. And not to be down on it, because I think a lot of people enjoyed it, and I think that's awesome. I really do, and mean that sincerely. If you got something awesome out of what is Starfleet or Nemesis or whatever,
I just thought like
fine,
like a worse.
That's good.
I think a worse crime than being boring in a show is just have or movie is to just have it be just so fucking stupid.
Yeah, I can't really disagree.
And if it's stupid but entertaining, I'll give it a pass. But if it's stupid and like I have no idea what the fuck is going on,
Yeah.
like Section 31.
yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I can't really disagree with that. Yeah. Okay, now.
So
I won't.
I think this gets doesn't get enough praise, but I actually really enjoyed, like, I mean, aside from the greats like the TOS and TNG, I mean, there's something good to be said about most all of them, even the Enterprise one, which is lame, but that's only around the third or fourth season when they add the drum beat to it.
I like the TAS.
TAS is good.
When they add the drum beat to the to Enterprise, that's when it becomes good. But I was gonna say the one that never gets mentioned ever enough is Voyager. I like the Voyager opening. I think
I like Voyager.
because
I think Voyager's on the top of a lot of people's lists.
and one of the things about Voyager is it sort of evokes this image that they're like, you know, they're traveling across these like these empty plains, except this empty space, you know, and so it's
this lonely trumpet fanfare.
And it's so they're traveling. It's like, oh, here's this planet. Oh, there's this thing. We'll never see that again. And it's like they're sightseeing, you know, and it's all majestic and shit.
But the Deep Space Nine music is interesting because it has a different character than say
It's stationary.
The TOS, the TAS, or even the TNG music. It's like this sort of more subdued music. It's stationary.
Well, it's stationary 'cause
contemplative.
It's stationary.
It's contemplative. It's subdued.
It's stationary in that, and it also it has that droning tone. That starts from the top, so that's sort of the stationary.
It's like, here we are at this station,
and that tone is like, the station standing still, station,
yeah, from Bill and
but
Ted's
it's really
Bogus
good.
Journey.
It's really good, like trumpet music.
I'm partial to Deep Space Nine's theme music, but some of that is going to be nostalgia. Deep Space Nine remains to this day my favorite of the Star Trek series.
And
overall.
the TNG one is just from the TOS actually. So
well, TNG is from TMP, but it is a different arrangement, and I probably like it better than the TMP arrangement. But I don't know. It's fun. It's an interesting fanfare. It's historic. It feels as historic as the original series.
Right.
But I love the fan. I love that fanfare because it's just like. Dun, 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 dun. I want to do that. You know, like Chris Farley when he would do it in the van down by the river, and he grabs his pants and he like in like very staccato sort of like fashion, sort of pulls his pants back and forth very stiffly and like into a beat. That's what I want to start doing when it goes. Dun, 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 dun,
We know
dun,
that guy
dun.
that used to live in a van down by the river.
The TNG theme, definitely good argument that could be one of the top ones for a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
For me though, I really dig Discovery. I really do just dig Discovery.
Discovery's nice.
I don't know if I'd be comfortable saying it's my favorite, but
Intriguing.
especially considering the variations on the original TOS theme, that one with the paired with the visuals of the engineering diagrams and sort of the building of something new was very exciting.
Yeah.
And
I can see that.
And there was a propulsion to it. Yeah, I dig them all. I mean, that's a stupid answer. If I had to pick, I don't know. Maybe I'd say TNG.
So much science.
Now, a totally different conversation that we should have at some point, perhaps in the near future, is a discussion of soundtracks from the various movies. Because I love some of those soundtracks.
But like all the sort of incidental music, like TOS
wins out.
and TAS, like they
agree.
win.
I think they win. Exactly. All right. Well, thanks a lot, Rob. Appreciate it. Keep them coming.
You know that guy.
Send us
I know that guy.
He's a good
You
guy.
can send us
I know
embarrassing
him.
stories about Dan.
We know him from ages.
Yeah.
I know him. That
Yes.
dude you just heard on the It's Got Star Trek
Yeah.
podcast. I know that dude.
You know him from day one.
I know that guy
From day one.
From day one. Yeah.
That's like
From my, he hasn't known me from day one, but I've known him from day one.
Yeah.
He knew you from your day one.
Yeah. Thanks, Rob.
All right, so that was Rob, Dan's brother.
Next time you're in town, we should eat some kind of like
Oh,
weird,
right.
like taste test some kind of like different brands of some product.
All right, good.
Yeah, baby.
So next, very briefly, I wanted to mention that last week Jesse was having one of his classic sneezing fits.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I was doing that just now.
We came up with the idea that we should do a It's Got Star Trek themed handkerchiefs.
Handkerchiefs.
And Sinacera on Blue Sky.
We're dangerous.
Sinacera on Blue Sky just tweeted us saying Handkerchief O'Brien.
Hell yeah.
Handker.
Chief O'Brien.
Which I think is brilliant. So I just wanted to mention that. We might actually do that.
Yep.
Okay.
Chief O'Brien.
We do have an email from Steve.
Hey, Steve.
Hey.
Steve, just a brief email. He's also discussing What is Starfleet last week. He said, to leave no nits unpicked.
Hi.
Watching events on Talos 4 in the Menagerie, Kirk clearly says to Spock, no vessel makes record tapes in that detail. That perfect. And he's talking about in the Menagerie where it's one of those episodes of Star Trek where they're just also watching Star Trek because they're watching The Cage in that case.
Right.
But now we see that Starfleet seems to maintain UK-level surveillance of ship's crew with cameras in at every quote-unquote duty station.
It's like being in Britain.
or maybe he was saying the resolution was just much better. Not the biggest problem with the episode. Thanks, Steve. So
Thanks, Agamus. You know
I agree, Steve. It is another disconnect.
That's interesting. Funny how he mentioned the surveillance in the UK, because whenever I watch like a British crime series, like the one line they say the most is, "Did you get any CCTV footage?" Like they're always talking about CCTV footage.
They got it.
They got tons of it everywhere.
Oh, but the problem is that every time they look up the footage, it's like, oh, some chavs walked by.
Some
It's like some chavs walked in front of the camera and blocked the crime.
They upstaged everybody.
Right. And it's just like a very British crime show thing to be checking like their surveillance footage on the street. Now, it's not that they don't do it in US based crime shows. It's just they're constantly looking at CCTV footage. That's like the main way that
It's
plots.
like more-
It's like the main way plots move forward in British crime dramas. Maybe that's why there's so many
When
British.
you say plots, I don't think PLOTS. I think PLOTZ.
And they have better film quality.
Maybe that's why there are so many British crime dramas, is because they have so much CCTV footage that they're easier to make because they've got this built-in method.
They've got more crime.
They've got this built-in method of sort of propelling the episode forward.
They also like their rural crime dramas, and perhaps that's because there are fewer cameras out in those rural areas, or Midsummer Murders.
I don't think that had anything to do with what
Well, you have a theory. I can have a theory.
Why can't he have a
my
theory?
theory is related to your theory. My theory buttresses your theory.
Jeez.
Sorry about that.
I know. It's not like you're always like, that doesn't have anything to do with what I was saying.
Sorry about that.
Let's keep things moving here. All right, we've got an.
I really stepped on it there.
No, we've got a voicemail from Admiral Adama. I don't know.
Admiral Adama?
It's a trap.
Admiral Adama.
Oh.
Admiral.
It's a trap.
What am I doing?
Hi.
Admiral. Khan, Star Trek 2. The Wrath of Khan. All right, here we go.
It's got Star Trek. This is Admiral Adama coming to you from the tear in the IP space-time continuum. A few weeks ago, you were talking about how the crew of this Enterprise was stuck in an interdimensional place and time and space. You know, something like that happened to me once. I walked into a cave. Starbuck put an arrow onto a statue, and suddenly I was on Earth. I don't know how that happened. I don't even know how we got back to the ship. People are constantly asking me how I got back to my ship and how we got out of the cave. I'll tell you what I tell them. How dare you speak to me? And then last week I heard again you were talking about the Enterprise facing off against a giant space turtle Leviathan that was full of alien marauders that were trying to take Captain Pike's whiskey. Oh, I hate to see what happened. They tried to do that to my XO. It turned out they weren't aliens. They were human beings in giant suits, which is a good thing. If it turned out that I was there and I saw some aliens, I would have had a heart attack right there on the spot. Then they would have had to write me out of the show. I mean, they would have had to relieve me of my command, and nobody wants that. This is Admiral Adama, signing off.
Thanks, Agamus!
It's really great.
A reminder, too, about the big space turtle, the big monster ship from the Salot that ate its tail, which that was a really great episode, but with that weird ending and some bizarre stuff there.
Did you know Edward James Olmos was in a movie called American Me that enraged the Mexican mafia?
I did not know that. Are you looking up Edward James Olmos?
No, I
He's
actually
been in
no.
several
Well,
things.
I
And
actually.
are you sure you didn't look up his doppelganger, Edward James Almost? You know, the guy who has a whole one-man show where he travels the country pretending to be Edward
No.
James. You don't like this?
It's called
You're not liking this riff, Dan?
Horseshoes and Nuclear War.
Should I even bother trying to argue with you?
Dan's not enjoying my particular riff. Okay, please continue your riff about Edward James Olmos's movie. He scared some.
And it doesn't matter. Why am I even talking?
he aggravated some Mexican cartel folks.
What I was gonna say.
Don't
is,
do that.
After you asked me if I looked this up, I actually knew about this prior, but I did look it up to refresh exactly what the movie name was, and it was American Me.
I got you.
And what I did discover just now is that I knew that Danny Trejo. I saw an interview with Danny Trejo. He was talking about because in the interview he was like, Edward James Olmos, man, you're gonna get your ass killed if you're not careful. And apparently in the interview he mentioned that he was aware of 10 people having been murdered for their involvement with the film. One of them was not Edward James Olmos, but yeah. But apparently
You're not going to kill that guy.
Well, I mean, apparently Edward James Olmos's role is what really pissed him off.
He almost got killed.
Almost. All right. I enjoyed that because I was not aware of that particular movie tidbit.
That's a serious nuance. Baby.
Okay. Finally,
I have achieved it.
I can't wait to talk about that. Finally, we have a communication from Isaac. This is not an email, but rather a WhatsApp.
A communique?
Yeah,
It's a WhatsApp because we're on that. We're on that kind of level of friendship. Isaac says, "Hi guys, Isaac here. I recently asked you to insult me. I recently asked you to insult me, as this might be a new podcast style
It was hard.
that could help you make the big mamoo." This is what happened. Dan saying, "Tie me kangaroo down, sport." Insensitive, but not insulted. Awkward, very awkward. Jesse said, quote, "Hobart is a town."
That tracks.
Accurate. But I didn't take it too personally. I was slightly ruffled. What does he mean? Vibes crept in, but I think he actually meant what he said. Patrick said, quote, "I recently had a video about Tasmania come up as a suggestion on YouTube. I didn't watch it." This one probably hurt the most. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts on Tuvix 2, The Secret of the Ooze this week. Don't let the jokes in the episode hide what this episode truly was. Then he signs it. Holograms, thanks, Agnes, and where would I stay?
Where would I stay?
To you all, Isaac.
Hologram.
Thank you, Isaac. That was
Sorry
funny.
about that.
Yeah, Isaac had suggested that we insult him.
Yeah,
and we did our best.
I think mine is the worst because like it would have been okay if mine were insensitive and insulting, but if it's just insensitive, that means there was no wit to it to make it insulting. So there's no redeeming quality. It's actually just it's even in worse taste because
you're forgetting the extra bit.
Huh?
That the song was written by a known pedophile.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, that was
I mean, it wasn't known when the song. You didn't know it when you said the song.
But what
you weren't like, I'm going to select the song.
Kangaroo tied down.
Well, there would have been some redeeming quality had it followed directions and been insulting, because then you could have had a healthy like roasty laugh, like ha ha, you roasted me. But there's no roast to it. It's just insensitive, and that means I'm an asshole.
It's just shitty.
I feel you.
There's no roast.
All right, so we do
poor taste.
We do need to take a break, but this is good timing for it because there's going to be a lot of fun stuff to discuss.
Oh, I hope
that is correct.
About this ridiculous episode, and no doubt Dan has collected some clever sound clips.
Yes.
Yes.
We've heard a few of them already.
Yeah, sure.
We'll continue this conversation and talk about the episode proper 4.5 Vulcans when we get back from the break.
You better believe it.
Be right back.
Don't wait up.
Wait a minute. Wait.
Were you waiting for me to say
try
that?
to keep it
No,
together.
we're good. We're good. We're back! Yay, we're back!
Wait, are we? Wait,
Yay, we're back!
Wait, are we actually
We're back! The clock's going. We're back!
You will stay seated.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
It worked out. See,
Where would
Captain
I stay?
Pike to number 1.
everyone's happy.
Everyone's happy. So we're actually back now.
We're actually back.
You know,
I'm not joking, Lee.
I was taken aback when you said the name of my brother as sending in one of an email. I did not know that. See, some people might assume that I already knew that beforehand, and that was a little,
you didn't know he had sent one in?
I didn't know he had sent one in. No.
Wow.
That's
really cool.
Now, I did play it up a little bit for the audience because when you said Rob Glubitz, I figured it out pretty quickly.
Rob Globetits.
But I did not know before you said that he had sent in an email. And so I was like, whoa. You know? And then I'm still like, whoa. I hope I responded correctly.
I'm still like, whoa.
Do you think I
man.
responded correctly?
Yeah. Do it again.
I guess you'll find out when this
Do it again.
podcast comes out.
He's got to let me know if I responded correctly.
Let
Because
me know.
if I didn't respond correctly, that could cause a rift in our families.
Well, he's your older brother too, which
Yeah.
means he can
He's bigger than
can
you.
beat you up. 'Cause
That-
that's how it works, right?
Yeah, always older. Always
Because
can beat him up.
he can just like crack you on the top of the head.
He's older
Three
than me.
Stooges. Well, I
He can
have
beat me
I
up.
mean, I have a
He can
younger.
give you a noogie.
A noggin.
I have a young.
Noogie on your noggin.
I have a younger brother too. He could probably beat me up though too.
Oh,
so
shit.
that's unusual. Usually, the older brother can always beat up the younger brother.
Now, those younger ones are feisty and wily.
It's the middle child is the one who's.
I bet you could take
You
that
know,
guy.
I don't even think it's weird because I have an older brother and a younger brother, but I don't consider myself a middle child. I still think of myself as like. I still think of myself as a bratty
'Cause it's
younger
like-
one.
Yeah. Because your younger brother is actually your half brother.
I know.
Not to like reveal too much personal shit, but it's like
Well,
he's
my
a half brother.
Well, he's my brother.
Is still your brother? Yes,
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
your brother.
He's my brother. I don't think that's why though.
No. Okay.
I just think it's
I stand
maybe
corrected.
difference in age or something. I don't know. But
Yeah,
I know
he's younger.
But but logically speaking, yes, I am the middle child.
Yeah.
But it's not quite that. It's not how one would usually perceive it.
Because your younger
Why
brother's
are
like
we
way
talking
younger,
about
right?
this?
You're the one talking about this, Dan. It's okay. This is an episode.
He's
it's
like in his 30s.
This is irrelevant.
This episode is tangentially about identity, and you're talking about identity and how
Tangentially
But
about
if you went strictly by your sort of chronological
feeling is unusual.
definition, you would indeed be the middle child. But you're like, I'm refusing that.
I deny that.
I deny that, and that's awesome. Honestly,
I'm confused.
you feel however you're gonna feel, and that's cool. So yeah, silly episode. For me, what made this episode easier to access, because it starts out and you're like, okay, I get what they're doing. This is silly. I'm already made nervous from the previews.
I mean, they brought Okay, I'm sorry. He fucking brought a Lurpa on a peaceful mission to a planet.
Yeah, we'll get to all of that. This is silly.
That was pandering. That was all that was pandering.
But I was thinking about it. I was like, if this were an episode of TAS, the animated series, like almost all this stuff would be fine. It would sort of fit it, right? And I was like, this is
Very cool.
This is that. This is that. I consider TAS canon. TAS has some of the most interesting Star Trek stories for the TOS crew. Totally worth checking out for folks who have not checked out TAS. There's
Interesting visuals.
There's a bunch of silliness, but there's also some really super interesting stuff in there.
I burned for it.
Watching this episode in my mind, I was like, okay, this is just a live action TAS episode. And that, I think, helped frame it a little bit better for me, so I was able to get some degree of enjoyment out of it overall.
It's like the silliest episode.
Despite the fact that, it's kind of, it's really gimmicky and really ridiculous in a lot of ways.
Well, I mean, the whole thing. Okay, so yeah, it was definitely gimmicky, and there was nothing real. Like I said before, that nothing really got accomplished by the end of the episode.
In terms of lessons learned, everyone was like, "Oh, Spock, it's hard
silly.
to be Spock."
Like Doug,
and like all the stakes were basically like, "Oh, we're Vulcan. We don't want to be Vulcan. We don't want to go back to humans." And the only real stakes was what was going on with La'an, but that didn't actually play out to anything real. It all played out comedically, and honestly, it felt kind of like a long Saturday Night Live skit. Like, it's just kind of like...
It's another way to think about it.
All it did is, the episode is like, let's pose the question of, what if these characters were Vulcan and silly Vulcans, caricatures of Vulcans?
Right.
Now, with that said, I must admit that I was entertained through the entire thing.
Yeah.
So it's a ridiculous, silly episode, but I can't dislike it. Not that I'm trying to dislike it, but I'm saying, like, even with all of its faults and everything, there's some something to be said about something just being completely entertaining. Like I was not bored at all in this episode.
Exactly.
And so maybe some people demand more from their meat, what they consume in their media. But like, if something's entertaining, it gets a lot of points.
And I, by the way, I can also see how people could watch this and not be entertained.
Right.
I understand.
Yeah.
It is right on a knife's edge. It's on a knife's edge that kind of just barely goes over to the side for me, where it's like, okay, I'm entertained by this.
Yeah.
Partly because of the investment the actors put into it. I think that there was a lot of cleverness mixed in with some just total stupidity. Which is with the tension between the two almost is almost brilliant.
I think one of those knife's edges would be example would be Pike's hair, because it was even more illogical as a Vulcan than it was, but that made it funnier.
It was even crazier.
And then the Vulcan guy liked it.
Yeah, right.
He didn't even
Illogical.
And like, so right, like on the one hand, it's like that's stupid that it's more illogical, but on the other hand, it's funny because of that reason. I know, like that's like, you know, how humor works and everything, but like I'm just saying, like, but that's a part where it could have tipped too stupid, and it didn't. I was okay with it.
Tipped too stupid. We're forming a band.
Too stupid.
The first album will be self-titled, but the second album will be called Tip Too Stupid.
And then in parentheses it'll say on the rad.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I'm out of the band.
You're out of the band.
I did not make good choices.
One thing to point out, I'm not the first to point out.
Why was Pike so loud?
I think, well, we'll get to that.
Always get to it.
But yes, we will get to it. But I just briefly wanted to point out that this episode had 6 Vulcans other than Spock.
6 Vulcans, really?
Yeah, because there were the 4 humans that turned into Vulcans, so they weren't really Vulcans.
And there was Doug, and there was Vice Admiral, whatever the
exactly. Doug and Vice Admiral Asshole.
When they mentioned
my cousin, Pete, who is a veterinarian. Perhaps you've come across my sister, Susan.
Are we counting those two?
No, they're just referenced, but good point.
Yeah.
They're at least referenced there.
Yeah.
Okay,
Pete and Susan.
How do you want to approach this?
I'm sorry. Vulcan veterinarian. There has to be Vulcan veterinarians, but it just seems like such a silly thing.
They don't even eat animals.
They don't.
Why?
Like,
Jesse, you don't need veterinarians just to eat animals. You can also use them for like pets.
Yeah.
Come on.
And like the zoo.
You're like you're fucking Sailot.
In Enterprise,
you're gonna eat up a Sailot steaks.
Well, I can't. Was it T'Pol or Phlox or both that were dissing on Archer for like caring so much about his dog, his lower life form? I think,
all of them.
Yeah, and so like T'Pol.
I think Phlox was bemused and perplexed, and T'Pol was more confused.
So that makes me think that Vulcans aren't really big on pets, although they have mentioned Salots.
Yeah, Salots.
So I'm sort of I don't know whether or not
I think they got some goofy cats.
I don't know whether Vulcans are big on pets or not. The reason I ask is because veterinarian, is that a high demand job on Vulcan? They must have them, but at the same time, if they don't care about pets, I mean, I guess, and they don't eat meat, so. I never thought about.
You guys are both mentioning this.
No. The only reason I mentioned meat is because Jesse has. I've never thought of a veterinarian in terms of like meat eating,
well,
but I guess
keep track of the livestock.
But I guess like now that I think of it, you need veterinarians.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
You gotta eat some steak.
Romulans.
I don't know how you want to approach this, because we could approach it by the various gags. I don't know, Dan, if you have like a list of goofy Vulcan gags, or if you wanted to do it character by character, because they do have their little vignettes, each of them, Pike and
Vulcan
Chapel,
vignettes.
etc. If you wanted to go through that way, I'm not 100% sure how to approach talking about this episode.
It's
Earlier, I played the sound effect.
So much science.
That, of course, was said by Jess Bush as Chapel. Yeah. She had a similar line. In a Space Adventure Hour.
Specifically?
Remember in a Space Adventure Hour when she was like, and science things. Remember when she played the role of in the opening?
Foreshadowing.
Well, it was, I don't know if it's foreshadowing, but like, it was just, she said the same thing. Like,
for Easter egging. It's like an Easter egg that appears before the thing it references.
So Jess Bush in a Space Adventure Hour in the opening where they had the TOS like parody thing, and Jess Bush was like the number 1. I guess she was the commander or something.
Sure, why not?
And she was like, "We need it for science things." And then this time she said science, so much science. She's like, they keep having Jess Bush talk about science and as a thing.
Yeah. She's a science person.
Anyway,
science is likes
awesome.
science.
I know. It's just
glad you pointed that
out. It was just weird that they joked on science with her character, her actor, because she played different
Dr.
characters.
Corby.
Yeah.
What?
I
What
think
is that? What is what? Okay.
He's
what,
a scientist. She
Okay.
likes him.
Okay.
Spock.
Kind of a relief.
He's a scientist.
He's a scientist.
Yeah.
She likes him.
Yeah.
Good news.
Hot stuff.
All right. So
Very cool.
We still haven't resolved which direction we should go.
No.
I wanted to add. I figure I know you have a duty or no duty.
I do.
Or duties or no duties.
One. This episode
Or
begins.
do you have any lists?
I do. I just want to mention that Permenti 3 is in the Permenti system, and it began.
the Kaiser Permenti system.
It began.
It's a joke about a local regional healthcare system.
I talked about this a few episodes where they began about like how there was like 2 lines they have. One is about like, the crew. It was the other last one that happened is Wedding Bell Blues, where they did this, where they began the episode with the crew's gonna just chill out this episode, and then something happens, and they began with that same fucking line. I don't know if it's the same line, but it was one of the 2 lines they gave. I can't remember the example I gave last time.
Going to shore
but
leave.
this one was like a well-known vacation spot where the crew will be given 3 days of much-needed shore leave. Like that's like out of the book, verbatim. Like that's what they say on these types of episodes. That's how you know it's a silly
like
episode.
every episode.
That's how you know it's like a silly, fun episode.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
hear you, baby.
I can't remember what they said in Wedding Bell Blues. I'll have to come back next week and get back to you about that.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to that, and that's something the whole audience can look forward to.
The whole
next week
audience. So, what was your question?
Well, my question was if you had any lists, and then you quickly said yes, and then you made a different point. But what are your lists about?
Oh, a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Okay, you're being very cagey and secretive with your lists.
So really all I have is I have Silly Vulcans, which is a 5-point list.
Does that include the fact that the serum changed their haircuts?
No, but I should add that to the list.
All right.
But if it had been on there, you would have just spoiled that one.
Okay.
So thanks.
That was pretty much the best part.
Then there's one called Vulcan Lies. Vulcan Lies? Not Vulcan Lies, it's Vulcan Lies.
Holograms?
Okay.
You hear the question mark at the end?
Holograms?
You're adding a lot of syllables to a single syllable.
It's
word.
not Vulcan Lies, it's Vulcan Lies.
Okay.
You see what I'm doing with my hands? It's a question.
Wait a minute.
Lies?
But we'll just
or is it?
We'll just chalk this up to being one of the things that we'll probably understand more when you actually go through this list.
Yeah. And then there's a small list of like the plots for each character, and then one of them is a several point list of all the ways Lon wanted to be all nasty. But
I'm interested in those character
Let's
lists.
dig it.
Yeah, they're not. The character list is more like a 1-sentence thing for each character, except for Lon, which is
but we can expand on that.
Expand.
Expand and expound.
Sabotage.
I will fight you about that.
All right, pick a list and let's go for it.
Check it twice. Gonna find out who's listing it twice. Silly Vulcans. So I already mentioned. I've only got 5 points. Patrick mentioned one about the serum changed the haircut.
Yeah.
Serum changed haircut.
Are you like actually adding that to the list?
And in parentheses, I'm writing Patrick. There.
For the better in some cases.
So this is a small list, but and they mostly have to do with Pike. So Pike is Pike for some reason is on a peaceful mission, and he's carrying
a big Lurpa,
like down to the planet.
Yeah.
Like a fucking, because he's carrying his Lurpa.
I know. Yeah. Like what was up with that?
That was
nobody had
costume,
anything in their hands, but that guy had that shit.
That was fan service. Pike became the most silliest of Vulcans in this episode. He started talking all loud. He started getting in everyone's face. Like he was cleaning his quarters and
like double clean.
Like he was being super cleany in the quarters and calling Battelle smelly. That's number 2.
I know.
He was all talking about like human smell, and then he's like be thankful that you can't. And he's like, ugh, I can't.
Yeah, right.
And he's all like feigning like, oh, I can't even take it now while I'm saying it.
Because nobody else said anything about the human smell.
It felt performative.
Yeah.
It was performative, and it came off a little bit. And I don't know at all if this was done on purpose. Probably not. It certainly gave me some vibes of TAS portrayals of Vulcans. Not all Vulcans, but TAS had a few Vulcans, and TAS, especially when Jimmy Doohan was doing voices on TOS. A lot of Jimmy Doohan voices are variations on Do you know what we are going to do? We are the aliens. I am
Illogical.
I am a Vulcan. There was a bit of that flavor to Pike's portrayal. Arguably,
It is illogical.
It was a poor portrayal of a Vulcan, but it was funny. It was definitely it was funny and awkward and strange.
Yeah.
But it was not like a good Vulcan impersonation.
No, it was terrible Vulcan.
And
it made the Vulcans seem clownish.
And it almost made it. The problem is they didn't state this or they didn't go this direction in the episode. But the premise is already sort of ridiculous and flimsy. So like we're giving them a serum, we're turning them into Vulcans. It would have been maybe fun if they went in a direction where like they aren't like actually Vulcans. It's enough to like trick the people, but they're still kind of like just goofy. Like
it's the same serum
versions.
that they use in that other episode to get Spock back to being. Like,
yeah. So I wasn't clear.
It's just some recycled serum.
I wish they'd made more of a point of saying something like, "Yeah, this makes them Vulcans, but it makes them some weird perverted like human Vulcan that's not quite right or something."
Yeah.
You know, but then you get
A lurpa, a big lurpa.
But then they couldn't do all their half Vulcan jokes with Spock.
And then the smelling jokes.
Human smell.
It's the smell.
That one.
What's that from?
It's the smell.
That's from. God damn it! That's from that movie.
You got Jesse. You got it.
It's the smell.
Mr. Anderson.
Yeah, Mr. Anderson.
Right. Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson.
It's in Bill's house.
It's all your savings and loan.
Poltergeist.
It's from Matrix. The Matrix.
Yeah, Mr.
Well,
I used to be able to Mr. Anderson. I can't do it anymore. I used to be able to do that.
Wait, at what point did you figure out?
Bilbo
When I said it was the Matrix, you were like, yeah, as if you'd already figured it out. At which point did you figure it out? Was it when I said Mr. Anderson? Because you didn't know it at first.
No, so the mind is a funny thing, Dan.
Your ears are so pointy.
The part of my brain that knew, like I knew what the movie was, but it wasn't connecting it in the verbal centers. So like it wasn't going out, the little claw wasn't going out and attaching the word the Matrix.
You're breaking.
And putting it into the, all the concept was there. The whole movie, the scene, the tinge, the green tinge. Mr. Anderson.
So you're breaking, you need maintenance.
Oh, man.
I may be well beyond that.
It was a glitch.
Indeed.
Space.
Yes, he did
the final frontier.
Chairs
are inefficient.
So the chairs are inefficient line was funny.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff was funny. It was weird. I like that they did the intro voiceover. They had him redo it.
Yeah.
Since he wasn't really doing that good of a Vulcan, I think it wasn't as funny as it could have been because it just sounded like Pike being a weirdo.
And he sounded like a weirdo the whole time. And then this part might not be silly, but it more just doesn't make sense. It more seems like they overlooked something when he talks about how the crew needs to go in like what is it, 6 45-minute shifts or something?
Yeah.
42. No, it's 42-minute shifts.
Yeah,
First of all, was it 42 because of the Hitchhiker's Guide? Is that why they picked 42?
Could be.
Anytime they say 42 in sci-fi, you have to assume it has something to do with it.
And 47 is a number that comes up a lot in Star Trek going way back.
Right. That's a different thing, though. That's not what I was talking about at all.
Oh, shit. He got you on that one.
He got
me. He did his old Dan, like, that's not what I'm talking about.
A big lurpa.
It's Plumix soup.
But like what was ridiculous about that is because like, I mean, Vulcans are smart. They understand that while they don't need sleep, humans need more than like, 30 minutes of sleep at a time, because there's
the serum the serum did not turn them into Vulcans. It just turned them into sort of idiot assholes.
Right. I know.
Pieces of shit.
Because like what a Vulcan would do is be like, it's inconvenient that humans can't adhere to this crazy schedule.
All four of them became assholes.
But like but they would have been like, I would like to make them go in these weird shifts, but I can't because I know humans are incapable of handling that. But like Pike just like was ignorant to that, so which didn't make sense. Which was not really a silly Vulcan. It was just kind of like it was just made them assholes. Silly Vulcans. Number 4 is Doug the Vulcan in general. It's kind of a silly Vulcan, but much appreciated.
I enjoyed the premise.
Totally.
Yeah,
because it is a rational premise that some people would take interest in other cultures. We've seen it, and then co-opt their names and some other things.
And
like that.
It makes sense because this is a instance where humans became Vulcans, and then they didn't want to be humans again. But now you have this Vulcan that wants to be kind of wants to be human, so it worked well in the episode. I thought leek sorbet was kind of silly. I think they just invented that to be gross.
Yeah, but I thought that was cute too, and a very nicely framed shot. Overall, this is a well shot
was-
episode, well directed.
It was great when Admiral what's his name? Adama? Admiral Adama?
Yes, Admiral Adama.
No, it was Admiral Juggalo. Was that his name? Admiral Juggalo? What was his name? The Vulcan Admiral.
Pakalaka.
I don't know. I always forget his name.
Something with a P.
And I don't write. Yes, it's Pa.
It's Pasak. Yeah. So when he was so talking about how the sorbet was satisfactory, and like Pike all like did that smile, you could tell through that. This is when Anson Mount's so great. Kind of like it reminded me of how great he was in the mystery episode. This was more subtle, obviously, but it was such a subtle little smile, and you could just see the pride beaming through his face, even though the expression barely changed. You could tell he was so proud of his leek soup, and that was a great,
an excellent actor.
Yeah.
Totally.
He was in Crossroads with Britney Spears. I sent you guys some of those sexy Anson Mount pictures before.
I enjoyed them.
Yeah. You sure did.
I did.
And then
next on the list.
And then number six in the final one is the Serum changed their haircuts. That was contributed by
added
Patrick.
that. That's right.
Yeah, it wasn't a very long list. I'm sure there's more silly things involved, but
there are a couple of
but those were like the most blatantly silly things I saw.
In terms of the directly Vulcan things, there are a couple other sort of related silly things where like Spock was carrying everyone's bags when they came back from the away mission.
That.
That's right.
The whole gag was
he had
funny.
To do the work for everybody.
They built up this whole away mission. They go down there. The away mission happens. Everything's resolved almost immediately and completely off screen.
Yeah, right.
I enjoyed that joke. Right, that's a funny gag.
Right.
When they come
it's
back,
like you're just half a Vulcan, isn't that logical?
Exactly. And while I do see the problems with the actual like using all that stuff for humor, and it is fucked up that they were making Spock carry all the bags. Like it also was a funny visual gag to see just Spock is all covered in everyone's like
he's
stuff
got all these straps
because he's being treated like shit by these people because again they were turned into assholes.
Right. So I mean, and I guess this is part of the joke, but like just like how he's carrying everyone's bag, like he also mentions that they constantly reminded him he was half Vulcan, although they were literally down there for like less than a minute.
Yes.
So like I don't know how many times they could have fit that into.
And like some of them had like those secret missions they couldn't like even talk about, but they were just down there like for a little bit.
So like I don't know when they had the opportunity to tell him over and over again how, but I guess that's the joke or something.
Yeah.
No, well there's another a silly part actually that was in my list that I forgot to mention that was in the middle was this part. Jesse, you kind of referenced it a bit. This whole
on a mission I am not permitted to discuss.
Right.
I learned of a certain element of Vulcan history I am also not permitted to discuss.
On a mission I am not permitted to discuss, I too learned of a certain element of Vulcan history that I also am not permitted to discuss.
I am not permitted to discuss. Perhaps if we speak of it simultaneously. Romulans.
Then perhaps this is the last we should speak of it.
So you not only heard that, you clipped it.
I clipped it.
But you don't remember
and then you denied that you had heard it earlier.
What do you mean I don't remember?
You didn't remember that La'an is the implication there is that La'an is a Romulan. That's the whole.
That's the implication. I didn't get that from there. How is that? All they're talking about is things.
She was
she's scheming
plotting a mutiny.
Yeah. And they were saying like, why is she acting not like a Vulcan? She's acting different. And they both logically came to the conclusion.
Okay,
because I was talking about like taking over space and like destroying it.
Okay, because like when Pike said to her, he said, "You're not like a typical Vulcan."
Yeah.
I was like, what does that have to do with this whole permitted to discuss business? And you're saying it's because she is a Romulan?
Because the both of them are not supposed to know about Romulans, but only know about Romulans because of various time travel shenanigans. In her case, dealing with.
But that doesn't mean she is
this
a Romulan.
Before Balance of Terror.
The implication is they're like, what explains her strange behavior? Now, by the way, again, this is getting to the point where they are racializing behaviors. They're saying that if you are Romulan, you are biologically inclined to be murderous and scheming.
Well, they did that in did that in Deep Space Nine with
exactly.
Ferengi.
No, 100%. That's a problem Star Trek has. So this is another example of that.
Quark actually calls
Quark.
Garrett Wang
Harry Kim.
He actually called Joe. He's fucking with Harry Kim, but he calls him out on like he's like you're stereotyping prejudice against Ferengi. He was like fucking with him, but
the gag was that he was ripping him off.
Yeah.
On the other hand, Deep Space Nine does show us a number of Ferengi who are not like that. Like Rom, for example, Nog, Moogie, etc. We meet people who don't agree with all the cultural assumptions of the Ferengi. It's still presented as a cultural thing, is not necessarily a biological thing. Here's an example of you have been given a serum, it's made you into something different, and if it made you into a Vulcan, you become a shithead and don't like salt, and then if you turns you into a Romulan, you are biologically compelled to take over entire systems, murder people, etc., etc. So
your ears are so pointy.
That is a problematic story point. Now, leaving that aside, the plot point here was that they're again doing a hat on a hat where they've turned these 4 people into Vulcans, but secret special side gag. One of them is not turned into a Vulcan. It's because Vulcans and Romulans are related. One of them turned into a Romulan.
That's totally a hat on a hat.
And by the way, maybe she turned into a Romulan. Possibly there's a slight implication at the end because she is distantly related to the augments who are related to Khan and his people, the genetically engineered folks. So they've muddled and confused things. So is she a Romulan because the Romulans and Vulcans are related? Is she acting like that because of her augment genes?
Okay,
it's muddled.
I can now that I read through it, I can see that like the whole she's a Romulan thing by reading through that line. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a fucking idiot. It wasn't that obvious to me.
I do not think you're an idiot.
It just wasn't It just wasn't very obvious to me at the time. But then yeah, it was also confusing. Were you saying was muddled? What did you just say, Patrick? It was muddled because also
they referenced the augment stuff.
The augment because then I got distracted by that. That was after the fact.
But at
the end I was like, what does this have to do with Khan? I guess because he's augment. I don't know.
He also liked taking over empires and stuff. So maybe they were just saying, like, you mix Vulcan with augment and it turns into Romulan.
Or were you saying you mix Vulcan with somebody who wants to like take over the world? That means they're Romulan.
All of it has the problematic undercurrent of being like, if you have certain genes, you will be compelled to criminality or violence or whatever. It's a problem.
Yeah, it's not cool.
It's a problem.
It's the kind of thing where you can maybe you shouldn't, but you can give some like a 1960s version of this maybe a pass because you're like, they were extra stupid back then. But I don't know if that's right either.
Do not worry.
Kind of always ridiculous.
I will fix that. If we do not, who else will?
I have a note here that says Romulan Lon likes weapons. I liked weapons too. It's a great movie. Go see it.
Oh yeah,
it is.
That's clever.
Ba-dum-bum.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. It's a fun movie, though.
I want to see it.
I saw Barbarian. Close to a break time.
Barbarian's good. Yes, it is close to a break time. Actually, we'll just call it break time.
Wait, it's not. We still got a minute and a half.
No, we don't have a minute and a half because what's going to happen is I have to do all like. And then I've got to set you up to play the sound clip. Jesse's like, I got to go pee-pee, so I'm going to get up anyway.
I'm going to go pee-pee on my pee-pee. I'm going to go pee-pee on my pee-pee, guys. I need pee-pee on my pee-pee.
All of us are.
Am I being juvenile enough for you?
We're all gonna take this opportunity.
Fart noises
to do some pees, possibly some poopies.
I'm not gonna play the fart noise. I'm just gonna say fart noise.
Dan will just say fart noise.
Fart noise.
And we will be right back.
Goodbye, Roger.
And we're back.
Noted.
Oh, that's a good one. Yes. I like that. Noted. Are you going to save that one to use in conversation?
Maybe.
I don't know.
He will because he's an ass.
It's hard to fit it into conversation though because it's like one of those things you say that like is often superfluous.
Yeah.
You know, like Noted. you don't really need to say
just say that because you're like it means the same thing as I don't really care.
Yeah, and especially for
I'm not really gonna.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
noted.
And especially in a podcast, it's not like I'm gonna say something to you, and you're gonna respond with "I acknowledge that, Dan." No, you're gonna yes and me or no and me or whatever and me.
So he's gonna come back with you with a big old noted.
You are too slow.
I love
because you are too slow.
This line, like this was a sort of subtle line that I got a big kick out of when Chapel like says she's breaking up with Corby, and then she says to Spock, she goes, "And I'm breaking up with you," and then Spock goes,
"You have already done that."
I know, right? I know.
Like it's this look on his face because it's great because he still looks like a serious like stoic Vulcan, but you can tell he's like, "What the fuck?"
I was confused as well.
You have already done that.
Because it's the stress on the done.
Yeah.
That which is good.
And then his face has just got this like, what the fuck? You
Now,
know, like
speaking of linguistic nuances,
phenomes or phonomes.
I think it's a good time.
Phonemes?
This is a good time. We've been delaying our duty or no duties, or duties or no duties. I think this week it's a duties or no duties.
Crudies.
Isn't it?
It's a duties. I guess it's a duties or no duties.
It's a duties or no duties.
I don't differentiate, but
well, I'm just saying, you know.
Do we want to do it now?
Pooty badooties.
Yeah, I'm saying let's do it now because
do it.
we're
That's
talking
crazy.
about this is and that. This is a this and that.
Okay, duty or no duty.
Captain Pike may be a Vulcan, but that should not prohibit him from performing his duties.
Spock's right.
Performing his duties. Performing his duties. Performing his duties. Performing his duties.
No duty.
What do you think, Jesse?
I think it's a no duty.
Jesse's a no duty. I gotta say.
You think it's a
drum
duty?
roll, please. I think it's the duties.
Knock knock. Who's there? It's a duty.
I think he says duties.
Performing his duties.
Now I'm curious to see what
Knock,
Dan says. Now we know
duty.
Dan has. I won't say a bias towards, but a tendency towards thinking it's a duty as opposed to a duty. And I hope new audience.
Big lurpa.
I hope new audience members are figuring this out via context clues. What we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Anytime somebody says the word duty,
at least North American types,
or duty. Yes, duty. That's a good point, Jesse. We did learn that not everyone in the Anglophone world uses duty as slang for fecal matter.
Very cool.
So yes, in at least the majority of the United States, I hope that's not too aggressive a statement there, but I think it's fairly common in the United States.
So y'all are in agreement, and I'm going to have to fight you.
I haven't even given an answer.
To use
yet.
duty as a slang term.
I will fight you about that.
Colloquial term for poops, for poopy bits.
It's the smell.
The smell.
So Dan, what do you think it is?
I say it's a big stinky pile of duties.
Yeah.
No.
Now, I will admit that in this case,
Yet I have made a logical choice. You have not.
the context may be pushing me more towards duty because Spock keeps saying performing his duties.
Yeah, I mean,
So it's funnier.
Performing his duties. Performing his duties. Performing his duties. Performing his duties.
Okay, I can see that.
Because duty is comical.
Performing his duties.
Feces is comical. I mean, I know some people think that's childish, and that's fine.
It's broad.
Because it is childish.
You're usually a little bit more descriptive in your descriptions,
But
Spock.
it's the playful kind of childishness that I think maybe more of us need to be reaching out for in these difficult times.
Yeah, how you gonna do that?
Reach deep down, man.
Reach deep down and think about how funny.
Yeah, how you gonna do that?
Funny poops are.
Yeah, how you gonna do that?
How are you gonna do that? Doesn't he sound so like bratty when he says this?
Yeah, how you gonna do that?
The rings of Uranus.
Yeah, how you gonna do that?
Does he sound so bratty? He's like, yeah, how you gonna do that?
Yeah, how you gonna do that?
Yeah, how you gonna do that? How you gonna do that? hey, Disney, how you gonna do that?
Yeah, how you gonna do that?
Hey, Dan,
Yeah, how you gonna do that?
What are you doing?
Yeah, how you gonna do that?
How you
doing?
How you gonna? Hey, Disney, how you gonna do that?
How you gonna do it?
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Let's,
You're standing in the way.
Let's move along home and
I'm not going to let you do that.
Yeah, don't do that again.
talk about some of these characters and how they acted.
Help me.
I think we largely covered Pike for sure. Might be a little bit more talk about Delan, but first I thought I wanted to talk about Uhura because it was the most confusing to me. Because in Uhura's case, she, like all of them, they all became assholes. She became sort of an asshole to Beta.
She mind melded that guy.
I am very, very sorry.
The thing is, that's what I'm confused about. It's not clear. What happens is she basically is like, dude, you're kind of like, I like you, you're cute, but I don't like you as a person. Is sort of what the implication I was getting, which is kind of fucked up. And then she's
You're
like,
hot stuff,
then
but,
off screen, she's like, let me do something to you. And she brainwashes him. They don't imply, like, is it mind meld? Is it just meditation?
I think it was
I thought they mind melded.
Well,
hypnosis.
I thought they said that.
I just wasn't clear.
It
Maybe
was in
they
the
did. Maybe this is what I missed, but I wasn't 100% clear what she did. And by the way,
I'm confused.
It's weird anyway, because it's like, isn't that strictly against all Vulcan shit to like just force somebody to do some stuff?
Yeah, it did. That's exactly what I thought. It was like it would seem problematic from the start.
Yeah.
Well, so it was
Like she was taking the wrong approach, like everybody else.
Each Vulcan had a theme. Like Uhura, like Mind Meld, she's a communications officer, and so she like did some communication Vulcan stuff. Now Chapel, she's like overworked herself with science and medical stuff, and La'an became drunk with power, which is not something that La'an is specifically known for. But La'an's pretty tough, you know.
Control.
By the way,
and then like Pike, but just became like obsessed with like sort of order.
He became like really aggressive too. Weird, like yelling and real quick when La'an at the end when they were doing the dream battles, like it looked like
in Cetacean Ops.
Was that in Cetacean Ops?
There's a bunch of fucking whales.
I didn't even
notice
notice
a beluga whales
there's
swimming
so
around
much shit.
both above and below.
I don't even know how I missed this shit.
Yeah.
But when
I only caught that the second time through.
It reminded me of the Romulan bits in Picard where they do like the Romulan meditation thing.
So I was gonna ask, do you think that was? I mean, it showed her face, but there's nothing that says that did they like? I'm sure they could deep fake this shit or whatever they do now. But like, do you think that was really Christina Chong doing all those kick moves?
Yeah. Oh yeah, you know I didn't even
because
honestly, I didn't even consider it.
Yeah,
it was
because like they did like that side view, almost like a video game.
Where it turned into a whole dance sequence.
Well,
fight dance.
They were fighting and then they were dancing.
Okay, dance.
Everyone's taking what I'm saying and
we're
guessing.
We're not trying to. You referenced the scene.
I referenced the scene, but I'm in the middle of saying something, and then you try to guess what I'm going to say, and then suddenly we're talking about something totally different than what I was talking about.
Let me stop talking.
He asked a question, but it was not. It was a rhetorical question.
No, that's not what happened. That's not what happened. Because if you remember, play the tape back.
All right.
I was.
Do we think it was her?
I was middle. I asked that question, but then
I think it was her.
But then I'm going on to describe my question. Sometimes people ask a question, then go on to elaborate with a description. So where I was going to go with that is it had this cool side view fight scene that's sort of like a video game, but it also I'm sure that there were movies that there's been a lot of movies that do that kind of stuff.
Old Boy.
A lot of movies like that, and she did it, and the way they shot it seems like it would be more difficult to put a stunt person in there because you see her face the whole time. Now there's nothing that says they couldn't have done some kind of, I don't even know if they do deep fake type shit in actual movies and TV shows. They de-age people, obviously.
Oh, no, of course. I'm sure they put masks on people all the time, but in a TV show like this, probably not, especially not if...
Canada.
I think, yes, it is Canada, Jesse.
I'm confused.
Good point. But Christina Chong, would not surprise me if she was fully capable of doing all this stuff.
Yeah, there were some pretty good moves, but we were talking about Uhura.
Yeah.
Isn't that also against the Prime Directive?
They're referencing the Prime Directive. Don't they call it Initiative 1 or something back then? Or
General Order number 1.
Yeah, didn't they not have the Prime Directive back then?
They call it different things. I think they got pretty fast and loose with it on...
it's not a big deal.
In SNW. But in Enterprise, they were pretty good about not talking about it. Except for that.
Well, I guess we can wing it.
The one time Archer was all like, perhaps one day we'll have some sort of, I don't know, Prime sort of directive. All right, but yes, Uhura. I mean, I said my piece about Uhura. It was both weird, not fully explained, seemingly like an awful, horrible thing to do to somebody to change their personality. And I again, it was meant comedically, but I think it probably added to the pile of things that made people concerned about playing with sort of
they were just meditating,
fucked up concepts, but using it for sort of sitcom style humor.
So I'm a little conflicted because on the one hand, yes, from a viewer standpoint, it's questionable some of those things they did, but in the episode, the characters got pissed off at the ex-Vulcan people, they were all in the doghouse afterwards.
Yeah,
but as a
everybody blew it in some kind of way, in a relationship,
right? And that's why I think as the characters, they should have recognized that all of them fucked up.
Yeah.
So they should limit some of their irritation with them being all of them got fucked up off Vulcan juice. So maybe
they all
it's not like Pike's specifically an asshole. It's not like Uhura's specifically an asshole. They all became that way.
Yeah.
And when something's a pattern like that, you can tend to assume that maybe it's not totally their fault.
Right.
And so there's the conflict between the viewer and the character, because as the viewer, I thought it was weird that they chose to make them all assholes. But if I was a character in the show, I would have cut him some slack. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly.
That's all I've ever been saying.
I see what you're saying.
It's what we would expect.
That's a reasonable assumption.
It's what we'd expect. Of Starfleet officers. And honestly, you know where we'd see that? It's on Lower Decks. On Lower Decks, they were all like, oh yeah, you were possessed or some shit. We got it. We're all good. Not all. Although, Dan, I agree with you. It can be hard to overcome that stuff, right?
Mhm.
You know, like the human emotion of being like, it's still you that fucked up my shit in some degree or another. But again, it wasn't fully explored because there was such a disconnect between the people's behaviors as Vulcans and their normal behaviors that it was hard to say that it was like an amplification or variation on an existing feeling versus some wholly new ridiculous feeling.
Yeah.
Speaking of amplification, what'd you feel about that pop music they played when they were introducing the Vulcans? It was. I did a.
It was really silly.
Yeah, it was silly. It was super silly. I did a Shazammy thing, and it was apparently it's called "Reckless Youth" by the Home of Happy.
That's what the captions said.
I
wasn't familiar.
I didn't even
with
have to do the Shazam.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of those areas where I don't get too mad about it because I would have preferred that they had come up with something original and like some sort of Vulcan heavy metal.
Right.
But I also get why I guess maybe they just don't.
But they were like all dressed up like Vulcan. Like it was crazy. Like all of a sudden they were wearing these funny Vulcan outfits, and then like Pike had that crazy like weapon.
A lot of stuff happens quickly in this episode.
Oh.
That's the transformation scene, I presume.
Yes, you presume correctly.
Right. Everybody's like, I can't take all these emotions.
It was funny, comically. The acting was funny.
Well, you hear the person at the end going, "Oh!" Listen to this.
Overwhelming. She's saying overwhelming.
No, I know what she's saying, but listen to the person at the very end.
Overwhelming.
Yeah.
There's someone going, "Ah!"
I didn't catch that. That's good.
Or then it didn't even work on the other.
Pelia, yeah.
Yeah, Pelia.
And she said acid didn't work.
Just
on
like
her
LSD
either.
didn't work in the 60s. Or the 90s.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
That was goofy.
I thought that was interesting. They mentioned LSD in the 60s and 90s.
In the 90s.
Because from my understanding...
That's when I did it.
Because from my understanding, LSD did make a comeback in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
Actually did make...
There was a gentleman, I forget his name, he was a big producer, produced pretty much all the LSD available in the United States in the 90s until he got arrested.
Pinched.
Yeah, got pinched.
So somebody on that writing crew knows all about LSD in the 90s.
Oh, doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I remember LSD in the 90s.
Sure you do. So wait, we were talking about...
well, all of them. You were playing
oh, yeah, so I was
sounds.
going to say, literally Goofy.
Was that Goofy or is that the thing that Goofy is based off of?
No, that's actually Goofy.
That's Goofy, baby.
Because Goofy,
it's like Goofy's
it's kind of based
Wilhelm.
off of there's a anyway.
So in the last Star Trek movie, Star Trek Beyond, is that what it's called?
Star Trek Beyond.
So they play a Beastie Boys song, and there were some people liked it, some people didn't like it. That at least fit into the plot because they played that song for a reason. They were piping. Now, why they chose that song? Of course, it was to make it cooler. But they did play that song as a way to be loud and distracting, and it fit in the plot. So that's why this one felt slightly out of place because it didn't fit in the plot. It was just
non-diegetic sound.
Is that another way of saying it was just meant to sound cool?
No, so diegetic sound is if it's taking place in the scene where the characters would hear it.
That's what I
Non-diegetic sound is when it's for the audience.
I think that's exactly what I basically said.
I didn't know that's what you meant.
Because you didn't hear what I said.
I love that stuff.
I heard what you said. I misinterpreted it.
Okay, what I said was it was just there to sound cool.
Yeah, I guess yes. Yeah. And I don't know that they were successful.
6 and 12 of the other.
The crew will be given 3 days of much-needed shore leave. You of all people know how I like to get work done when it's quiet.
I like to get work done when it's quiet. I can relate to that. I am not a morning person by any stretch, but when I would work at this one place, I would like to get it to work at 6 a.m. because by the time the hustle and bustle, the time the hustle and bustle started, my day was half over.
Everybody shows up and they start talking and shit. And
yeah,
just
but
talking all fucking day.
First 3-4 hours is bliss. The first 2 hours is amazing. The next 2 hours it starts to pick up, but it's still cool.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
But around 10 or 11 when the shit starts going down, I'm almost done.
I know, right? It's I need to get some lunch.
You work at some sort of terrible cult, and that's when they start ripping apart animal carcasses.
Yeah.
So okay, we talked about Pike, talked about Uhura. Chapel, I think, worth expanding on a little bit. Yes, she breaks up with Spock, breaks up with Corby, doesn't want to have any friends, complains about that her minimum required sleep is already too annoying.
Fascinating.
It's the funniest one.
Yeah, and she's having fun with it. It's
Is that not logical?
Her hair's super straight.
yeah, and again, the hair stuff is still hard to get around. But again, if it's a TAS episode, all right, this works.
Hers is the best.
Okay, so.
Then they had the Plomeek soup gag at the end.
The Plomeek soup, which was nice to see proper purple Plomeek soup.
Proper purple Plomeek soup.
Except it tastes like shit, and she was like, "I'm sorry."
Yeah. Maybe it's not a Plomeek soup. Maybe it's a proper purple Plomeek porridge.
Well, and she had
exactly.
Or Spock had that great line where she's all like, "Oh, you guys are early," and Spock's all like, "He was on time.
Yeah,
I was early."
right, yeah, I know. That was such a mind fucker because I was like, wait, if he was on time, how could he be on time if he's here early with me? But that was a funny joke.
Yeah,
I appreciate that joke.
I really enjoyed that. Another one I enjoyed was the concept of Spock socks. That was Spock socks was causing some troubles for La'an. This is this little arc that's been going on. Spock's hanging out with La'an, and she freaks out because Spock puts clean socks in her drawer, and it's like a typical, again, sitcom style.
How many socks do you
character
need?
development?
I like that interaction at the beginning between Una and La'an when Spock walks up, because like after she like dismisses Spock, they cut they're talking about like where you said the Spock socks, and then it cuts to him like all by himself flipping his linen around, the linen napkin, and then he's like all eating by himself.
What's
like,
he eating?
I don't know, but he's like all eating by himself, like sort of looking ahead, all Spock like sort of forlorn, but not really. And then
it's like he's dealing with it.
And then they cut back to them, and La'an's like, "Oh, I made everything so weird," and then Una's like, "Why'd you make it weird?" And then La'an's like, "Why aren't you taking short leave?" And then they stare each other down, and then they cut back to Spock with his napkin linen tucked into it, like his shirt.
Some kind of weird thing.
He's tucked into his shirt. He's all ready to eat, and he's like
nibbling,
and he's looking all like lonesome. Like
at that point, he's nibbling. He's holding up this like little star-shaped fruit.
Yeah, right.
He's nibbling
on
it.
A weird thing.
Hilarious. That was so well.
Just
the camera angle was perfect. Ethan Peck was perfect.
Like,
it was funny
because he was looked all far away and lonely, and the way they cut back and forth between this lively conversation and him just kind of like all by himself like a kid alone at lunch or something. You know,
it's like you can't eat here. You got to go over there.
Yeah, right.
It's hard to do.
That was a good scene.
It's hard to pull that kind of thing off, and they really did. And again, that's part of what makes this episode a little troublesome is that they'll do something ridiculous or base some humor off of some strange problematic shit. And then on the other hand, the actors and the directors, everyone's really, firing on all cylinders here and how they're portraying things. So it's making these jokes very funny, making these presentations pretty hilarious. I loved all the interactions between La'an and Una, and especially getting to see Una in a state that we don't normally get to because she is so famous for being in control and strong and having the right answers and all that other stuff.
Doug the Vulcan.
And that she has this, she goes like weak in the knees over Patton Oswalt is a fucking great joke. It's just a funny joke. Again, it's not a particularly creative joke. Oh, the famously beautiful person
all of a sudden it's Patton Oswalt.
Can't control herself around the goofy looking funny guy. That's an old joke, but it's done well.
Well, and then the other joke they do is of course the one where like, oh, in order to pretend like I'm unavailable, I'm going to take my friend or coworker and they're going to be my significant other,
I'm going to pretend like we're married.
Yeah.
I shall assist.
Whoops.
I was like, I thought I was expecting much more there.
I shall assist my wife.
My wife.
My wife. My wife.
My wife.
I shall assist
my wife.
Wife.
I shall assist
my wife.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
It is very funny.
I shall assist
my wife.
So what Dan's done here is another example. This is
my wife.
This is subtly brilliant. I'm just going to explain it for the folks who
I shall assist
my wife.
Might be under the misapprehension that this is not what Dan has done is not absolute genius. We were just talking about how they do this joke, right? This whole like sitcom style joke of Spock pretending to be her husband and her just sort of dropping that on him in the middle of a conversation so she can be protected against this person that she can't control herself around. Old cliched sitcom style
really
joke,
old.
But they did it so well that it doesn't matter. You enjoy it. It's fun. It's shorthand, and that what what Dan's done by doing the old "my wife" joke.
I shall assist.
He's my wife. He's done the exact same thing. He's layered it on top. He's taken a cliche joke, but he's performed it so brilliantly that it's hilarious.
I'm layers deep.
You are.
Yeah, baby.
You truly are
like a layer cake.
A stinky old onion.
Oh,
like a stinky
I
old
love onion.
It's the smell.
I shall assist.
My wife.
I eat onions raw and wriggling.
Raw and wriggling, baby.
Raw and wriggling. Okay, so the joke was, of course, that you hear Patton Oswalt talk, and the camera pans over, and this one dude, and then he steps out of the way to reveal Patton Oswalt. That would have been a funny joke, except for the fact that the thumbnail on Paramount Plus ruined it. Because if you look on the thumbnail,
you see him like from the get go.
Yeah.
You're like, that's Patton Oswalt.
Yeah. Like I go into this episode,
and then you're like,
he's in the previews.
There's a whole lead up, and you're like, it's totally going to be Patton Oswalt.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
like, there it is. Ha ha.
Yeah, it's like I'm going to press play on the episode. I'm like, I guess Patton Oswalt is in this. And like, first of all, if you had ever heard Patton Oswalt, you would know when he's talking off screen that that's him. But even if you didn't,
he's Remy in Ratatouille.
But even if you had never doesn't have much experience with Patton Oswalt, but you just kind of knew who he was. Like, it was very obvious that was going to be Patton Oswalt. And so the joke was ruined. They ruined the fucking joke.
Exactly. Yes.
You know, Patton Oswalt grew up right down the road from us.
Yes,
that's right.
He's Sterling.
Well, it's out in Sterling.
Sterling and McLean.
I think it was Sterling.
I think he went to school in McLean.
I think it was Sterling originally.
Yeah, because back in the day,
people drive in.
I think it was.
Yes.
Dan, we are agreeing.
Please finish. Please finish.
Everyone agrees with your point.
Finish,
no, but I don't know if anyone agrees with my point because I haven't been able to make it yet.
I'm going to listen to Sterling. I'm going to listen to what you say.
I said Sterling, and then you guys said McLean, blah, blah, blah. And what I'm trying to say is, but I think it was Sterling first. That's all I was trying to say.
Yes.
That's all I was trying to say.
No, that's right.
Because to specify the time, the order of time.
And I'm gonna follow that up with saying that.
So no, you didn't know what I had to say. No one was agreeing with me because I hadn't said it yet.
If you lived in Sterling, you went to school in McLean because that's all they had back then.
I mean, you're not wrong.
That's what I'm saying.
My wife.
There was no Sterling High School. You went to McLean High School.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's how you become drawer people.
And then that makes me in agreement with you, and not your adversary.
Illogical.
Jesse's rapidly turning into Mitch Hedberg over here.
I am your brother, sir.
Don't turn to Mitch Hedberg.
Yeah,
on
don't.
us.
Yeah.
No.
Oopsie.
Okay.
Oopsie.
All right.
Oopsie.
What we're talking about this episode? Oh yeah, we talked about most of the crazy Vulcan character stuff, all the assholey stuff. Again, a weird combination of funny and horrible, ridiculous.
Oh, they kept talking about permanent Vulcans, and all I could think about was the infinite Vulcan and how it compared to the permanent Vulcan.
That's funny. That's a good connection.
That's funny. That's funny.
Good,
that's
funny connection there.
That's
funny.
funny.
A good one, man.
That's funny.
I liked when the cadence towards the end of La'an saying, she was like, "I don't need your help." Do you know what that reminded me of?
I do know what that I don't have it on sound file. I wish I did, but I do know exactly what you're talking about.
Monster.
No, what I'm talking about is when she said, "I don't need your help."
I know what you're thinking.
I know you know. I'm setting this up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The part of Dan tonight is played by Patrick.
If you will not help me, I will kill you.
It made me think of James Vanderbeek's famous line from the movie Varsity Blues.
Yeah.
When he's talking to his father and he says, "I don't want your laugh."
My wife.
When she said, "I don't need your help."
Yep.
I don't want your laugh. I've said it before. I will say it again. Watch Varsity Blues. It is not a drop dead classic. It's a way better movie than you think it's going to be.
And that's
it's contemporary.
I think that's where the Green Day song "Nice Guys Finish Last" premiered. Is at least
word.
Okay, back to the old story. I don't need your help.
They did that thing where do people still talk about bacon like all the time? Like, remember that period of time where people remember that period of time where people were always talking about like bacon is the most amazing shit of all time, you know? And like people couldn't shut up.
On The Simpsons, it was like, if you don't like bacon, then the hell with you.
Yeah, people would like wouldn't shut up about like how amazing bacon is. Bacon's pretty good. I don't really eat it, but like it's really good. But she did that
on occasion.
But Ortega's pulled the line of like, "Oh, you're going to talk bad about bacon? I'm going to fight you for it," or whatever the line was. And so I was wondering if that's still a thing. Do people still like talk on Reddit about bacon all the time.
You mean now or in the 22nd century?
I mean now, because it would. It says. Are
you asking the AI whether or not people still talk about bacon?
She goes. I once watched Beto House 4 cheeseburgers in under 2 minutes, and it was glorious. Yoda has shown me that humans don't require animal protein. Yeah. And she goes, but bacon, come on, I'll fight you about that. So like I would be saying like in today's standard, because it would be ridiculous for me to postulate if in the future they still talk about bacon.
Okay,
with bacon,
and because that was the joke. The joke was supposed to relate to us.
It amplifies your aggressive tendencies.
Again, biological determinism here. I think where I was getting at, Dan,
Romulans.
My thinking was I thought you were maybe talking about just the idea that somebody in this future area, future time with like replicators and shit like that, bacon. Like would they still be all into like bacon? Or like raising pigs and slaughtering them for bacon, which I don't know. Maybe that's the implication here.
Yeah,
it's weird. This season has been a little bit heteronormative and pro meat. For better or worse.
Doug said what I would give to be half the human you are. That would make him 1/4 human.
1/4 human if you go by the biological determinism.
Vulcan lies?
Yes. Okay, yes, please. Yes, let's get to the Vulcan lies.
No, it's Vulcan lies.
Okay, yeah, Vulcan lies.
Spock lies about being married to Una, but wait, it must be because he's half human. So it's not a Vulcan
That's why
lie.
he can lie.
Because genetics control whether or not you can lie.
Subterfuge.
Because Doug is amazed at Spock's ability to lie because of his human half. And he says...
Yeah, Doug, baby.
and I want it to be known. I want it to be known.
Doug says we can't lie.
As a full Vulcan, I really cannot lie.
See? So there's proof is in the pudding. Proof is in the plomeek.
This will never be resolved because he's lying.
God damn it.
Because we know Vulcans can lie.
But Spock's allowed to lie because it's got to be his human half.
Yeah.
But no, that's ridiculous.
See, that's you want. But do you understand
there's
why?
There's no biological imperative not to lie.
But do you understand why I said it's called Vulcan lies?
Yes, yeah, exactly. Thank you so much. Now I understand it. Previously, I wasn't sure. I did predict I would understand it once you explained it. You've explained it. I fully understand it now, and it's awesome. Oh, I thought there was you looked ready to play.
No, I'm just marveling at Jesse over here.
He's lunching out a little bit.
Yeah.
I am intrigued.
You guys are really fun.
We do need we do need to finish things up, but I did want to talk about
the end scene,
the end credit scene, the post credit scene.
Pull on this finger.
It was really
and then
funny.
Flatulence.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Because you are too slow.
It was great. I did some background reading and some interviews and stuff like that, and I've gathered that this was like basically a 30-40 minute run where Patton Oswalt and Ethan Peck just improvised stuff, and they edited it together. And the reason they put it at the end was just, they said for pacing reasons. It wouldn't fit in the main part of the episode, but they didn't want to lose it.
So there's and Patton Oswalt was on an episode of Parks and Rec, and they did something similar where he went on like a 20-30 minute rant about Star Wars, like
famous.
And which is pretty. I don't know if that was a laugh or what that was, but that was something.
Death rattle.
So I just thought at the very end, I just like to watch over and over at the very end when Ethan Peck smiles because he can't contain himself anymore. It's just so charming.
And
it's just so charming when he smiles like that.
The discussion online was that just Ethan Peck smiling because it was funny and he had let enough time pass, or was it written into the script or whatever that Spock was saying? I don't see why it couldn't be both, that he was doing it both as Spock and Ethan Peck. I really enjoyed that.
I love Doug's shock at the punchline to the pull my finger joke.
Yeah.
His face is like
the facial expressions by Patton.
And then when he found out about how much cheese humans eat, he looked a combination of overwhelmed and uneasy. He was like, oh.
And Spock even had trouble verbalizing that.
And then when we got so excited when he said isn't.
Yeah.
When he was able to say that. That's
I know. That was great.
I have achieved it.
Is it?
Victory. I am human.
But I am not.
It is illogical. Victory. Pull on this finger.
And then flatulence.
Why would you do that?
With the TOS music playing in the background, like a variation.
Because you are too slow.
Well, right here, there's
Victory. I am human.
If you listen, there's a trombone.
Yeah,
there's a
clown
trombone
version
going,
of the TLS. It was really well done.
Victory. I am human.
All right. So to sum up, a problematic, confusing, funny, stupid, memorable episode of Star Trek, and one that I will probably enjoy revisiting in the future. This is the kind of thing where it is, yes, it's fluff. On the other hand, unlike some of the other shows where you're like, I'm not going to just pick up in the middle of a season of Discovery, right? You kind of have to invest in either the entire season or even the entire show.
When you say
here, you could just pop this on and enjoy a silly episode.
When you say that's a sub vocalization.
When I say it,
just when you say it.
Okay.
That's harsh.
Yeah, but the controversy aside, and the fact that nothing really got accomplished, it was really just a sort of a musing on what it would look like if we turn these characters into not just Vulcans, but like ridiculous caricatures of silly Vulcans.
Yeah.
Like, it was entertaining, but like I said, after it was all said and done, there was really no purpose to any of it.
I'd say the main purpose is the C or D story of Kirk palling around with Scotty.
Yeah,
which is fun. We didn't really discuss it. There wasn't much to discuss, but it was fun.
Yeah, that was, you're right.
A great ending scene, adding to this season of Kirk getting to know some of these people.
Because he tried to connect with
later.
Lon, but she was all super Romulan.
And
he was like, what the fuck?
I know, right? And his brother was out of town. He was trying to kind of harass
he's already down at the planet. It's like, what, like, you can't
on a solo hike.
You can't access him on the planet. Like, it's too many people.
Did you notice?
It's a big planet.
Paleo was sleeping in her uniform. I guess that was to indicate she didn't get enough time to change properly.
Well, she said she couldn't handle those things.
Her quarters were super.
And they were just standing in her quarters, so she's sleeping.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's enough for this week.
Shit.
Weird episode, but again, memorable. Next week, we will be discussing the penultimate episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds third season.
Go away. Now.
Terrarium.
Did I ever tell you about the when I was working at a restaurant and someone ordered the rotisserie chicken with French fries?
I think you have mentioned the rotisserie chicken.
They were from New York.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah,
it does sound delicious.
It was.
Was there a special sauce?
Yeah, well, they had a good Carolina style barbecue sauce, but I used to like to use their blue cheese homemade blue cheese dressing.
Nice.
There was a period where I was exclusively eating their half chickens at that restaurant. They were really good.
Great.
Which place was this?
Old Hickory Grill.
Okay. It was good. It's no longer. So
so it matters even less.
Completely academic.
It is a memory that it is retained in fewer and fewer katras around the world as people slowly die off and stop remembering that restaurant that was closed down many, many years ago. Dan's still thinking of stuff, but I'm just going to say, next week is Terrarium, which is finally, at long last, an Ortegas-centered episode.
Oh, tight.
Something to look forward to next week.
I thought Lon turned a little quickly at the end. They did a little dance, and then she was like, I want to be nice
Everything
now.
about this episode ended quickly. It was just real quick. It was just lickety split. We're all done.
But when you said we're all done, you meant that on two levels.
I kind of did.
Patrick's getting antsy. I can tell. I can tell when Patrick's getting antsy.
www.itsgotstartrek.com. At It's Got Star Trek on all the social medias.
Why the ruse?
And Facebook, YouTube.
Am I slightly forgiven now?
Like and subscribe. Patreon.com/It's Got Star Trek. You know all the bits and pieces. Feedback at itsgotstartrek.com. That's an important
feedback.
You have not.
Let us know what you think about this episode. Let us know what you think about next week's episode, Terrarium.
Holograms.
We'll include it in the discussion, and that'll be it for us this week. Bye bye.
Sabotage.
Go away.
Whoa.
Now.
I find it utterly fascinating that there is so much uncontested space out there. Space that is wasted. Space that is merely there for the taking.
I mean, there is a lot of space, hence the name.
But should we actually take it?
We must.
Oh, okay.